anyone there who is really knowledgeable. So that's why it's really important to, if you can find a counselor, whether it's in a phone book or you have some friends who you can talk to about this, that you get that support, whether it's through the groups like Al-Anon, Alateen, or Nar-Anon, to kind of guide you in that direction.
And also yours truly, I am also an addictions counselor for drugs and alcohol.
Correct.
Addictions counselor for the state of Maryland. Not only do I counsel here, but also in Florida. I counsel anywhere, really, and also I'm a pastor. So you need that. You need somebody outside of yourself to bring information to you that you don't have.
Right, and at the same time, I would suggest a spouse or a mate or a partner, read as much as possible, get as much information as possible about addiction, whether they're videos on the internet, whether they're books at the library. I'm not talking about you going into debt, but get some information so you can understand better about addiction, because you may be looking at it, hey, well, what's my mate's issue? Why can't he stop this? Well, if it's an addiction and if it's a disease, it's going to be hard to stop. Just as you have to find help for if you have like diabetes or some other disease.
High blood pressure, cancer.
Right, that you have to find a way, you have to find someone who has some information that can help you reduce that. Because for a family member, once you get some information, it'll start to reduce the pain that you're going through. And let me add one other thing. If you can, find a family member or friend whose house you can retreat to for support. Now, my husband wasn't violent, but you might have a mate or a spouse who becomes violent in his or her addiction. Then you need to have some place that you can go, or that you can take your children to go for some temporary support. And there are other organizations like that. But one of the things the counselor did tell me, he said, so if your spouse is hurting you or beating you, or if someone who is a stranger came into your house and tried to hurt you, what would you do? And so the response would normally be, when you call the police. Well, in the same way, if your spouse or your loved one is hurting you, you need to call the police.
Which is a power greater than you.
Right. And that is very important, that don't treat the situations differently.
Yes.
Because whether it's a stranger or someone you know, it's going to be the same pain you're going to be going through, and you're going to have to find a way to stop it. And it might be to ask for some law enforcer to come in and help you.
And one of the things that caused me so much pain in my active addiction was not being able to talk about it to anybody.
Well, and
that was devastating. And so the same thing has to happen. I mean, if you're a spouse and your husband or your wife, and I'm just saying that husbands inflict pain on wives. Some wives inflict pain on husbands. Now let's be clear about that. And it's not just a one-way street. There are some wives who are verbally abusive, mentally, physically abusive to their husbands. Some husbands who are abusive to their wives. And if you're not talking about it because of your pride, the Bible says that pride goeth before the fall. Your pride, you just don't want anybody to know what's going on, and you're suffering. There's no way that you can get any relief.
Right, so that's why I was talking about the 5, the E for embarrassed. You're
Yes.
embarrassed, and especially if you're part of a ministry family or a pastor's family, it's like, okay, now, where can I